This morning when I got up, I said to myself, I'm going to change things around a little bit. So the homily I prepared for today, I decided to file it under the L category in my file cabinet. You know what L stands for? Later. I'll give that one later, maybe next year in Feast of Corpus Christi. And if I do it next year in Corpus Christi, then I have it done already. But I thought to myself, I want to talk about something that's beautiful in our church. You know, we hear a lot of news lately about sad events in the news, and that's unfortunate. The last couple of years, we've been hearing about sad events in our church, and that's really unfortunate. But when something good and exciting happens, I think we need to share those good stories, those upbeat and exciting stories. So that's what we're going to do this morning. Yesterday at the cathedral in Greensburg, we had one man ordained to the diaconate. That was our own Mark Dunmeyer. Now, you've probably watched Mark the last couple of years. Whenever he's off of school and he's free, he comes to Mass and he is on the altar with me. But Mark has been maturing into the priesthood, and yesterday he was ordained what is called a transitional deacon. That means he's moving out of the diaconate to the priesthood. He'll be our priest sometime next year. It was a very beautiful ceremony. It was uplifting. It was exciting. It just had it all. There had to be about 100 people from St. Margaret Mary's there, which I thought that was emblematic of the type of parish that we have. But what was interesting is during the homily, Bishop Malesik said that what fosters the priesthood are two main ingredients. Priests come from two arenas, and hopefully they work together, from faith-filled families and from a parish that is faith-filled as well. And when he said that, I thought to myself, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Because in this parish right now, in this diocese right now, we have 4 men actively working as priests in the Diocese of Greensburg from this parish. So this parish is definitely a faithful parish because it fostered their priesthood in alignment with their families. We have Monsignor Fritz Mars, Father Polchensky, Father Monod, Father Lamandola. All from this parish, all good, great priests, but all from St. Margaret Mary's. And I find it enjoyable whenever I run across any one of the 4 men I just mentioned. And we have conversation. They'll always share with me stories about their upbringing here in Lower Borough and St. Margaret Mary's. And what I find amazing time after time again, no matter which one of those 4 priests shares with me an occurrence, a memory, growing up here at St. Margaret Mary's, they always do it with a smile on their face. So they're sharing with me a happy memory. That's beautiful. That's exciting. It's exciting to see that. Bishop Malesik was right. Priests come from strong families and from strong parishes. And currently, right now, we have 49 native priests in this diocese. Now we have 18 priests working in this diocese, ministering in this diocese from the Philippines. Thank God we have them. But we have 49 native priests. Next year, we'll have 50 when Mark Dunmeyer is ordained a priest. That would mean when we get to 50 priests next year, we will have 5 priests out of the 50 from this parish. 10% of the priests of the diocese would be from this parish. I find that absolutely amazing. That's a credit to every one of you sitting in your pews. Because these men became priests and said yes to the priesthood because of the way they were raised in their family life and the support they received in a parish life. That is to your credit. Not that you want to go around just beating your breast and showing that off. But there isn't another parish in this diocese that can boast at this point 4 priests and 1 deacon. Next year at this time, 5 priests. That's absolutely amazing. Beautiful. It's really something to be excited about. I'm really excited about that. And the nice thing is, Deacon Mark Dunmeyer, now he's the official deacon of the church, and deacons are allowed to do many things more than they can do prior to becoming a deacon. So now he can baptize, he can do funerals, he can administer many of the sacraments that do not require Mass. And he can also read the gospel and give the homily. So Deacon Mark's going to be with us at all three Masses next weekend, giving the gospel and giving us his homily. It's going to be just enjoyable to have him here. It's been fun to watch him mature into the priesthood. It's going to be enjoyable watching him preach for the very first time here in this parish. And I would imagine, if he was anything like me when I did it many, many years ago, his heart's going to be pounding. But he knows this much. He's going to look out and see people who love him and people who are faith-filled for him. Now, what I have in mind is this. Next year he will be ordained a priest. That date, the exact date of the priesthood hasn't been determined yet, but I said to myself, I'm going to ask Mark really quick when he's ordained a priest if he'd be good enough to come back the weekend immediately after being ordained a priest and offer the three Masses here that weekend. And if he says yes to that, then I'm going away. He can do it all on his own. He could be smiling up there and I'll be smiling somewhere else. But hopefully that's what happens, because it's going to be fun to have another priest from this parish. And I bring that up this morning just for that one reason, because I said to myself, it's a happy story for this parish. It is really amazing. Again, I don't know of another parish currently. Now, historically, back in the 50s and 60s, 1950s, 1960s, when there were many, many, many vocations of the priesthood and sisterhood, there were a lot of parishes who had multiple priests out of their parish. But we're talking a new time, a new era, a new generation. We're talking the 2000s now, where the amount of priests has radically fallen off, where very few people enter the priesthood. So to have a parish that has 4 priests, 1 deacon, next year 5 priests, is at this day and age totally unheard of. We have something no one else does, and we have it for 2 reasons, because I believe what Bishop Melisic said was accurate. Priests come from, and their vocations are fostered out of, faith-filled families and a faith-filled parish. All 4 of those men, priests, and Mark, a deacon, have come from faith-filled families and a faith-filled parish. And next year we'll all get excited as Mark will celebrate his first Mass, and hopefully it's right here because this is his own parish. And that's one of the greatest Masses of her priest's life, his very, very first Mass. That is a day that when you go to sleep the night before your first Mass, you do not go to sleep. You might be in bed, but your eyes are open the whole night. It's one of the most exciting days of your life. Probably something like a honeymoon for a husband and wife. It's just that you never forget it. Whether it was good or bad, you never forget it. So keep Mark in your prayers, that God will continue to allow him to walk toward the priesthood next year. He still has a long way to go. This next year will be a very long year in his life. As I asked him yesterday, are you done with your studies? And he said to me, no, he still has to do his comprehensives. Oh, those gave me many nightmares, I said to him. The comprehensives, you have to pass them. And then back in those days, and they still do it, but the bishop would call you into his office one by one. I was ordained with 6 others. You'd have a comprehensive in front of the bishop for 4 hours. And he would drill you for 4 hours. No water. In those days, no one seemed to drink water. They didn't have bottles of water. No one walked anywhere with water. He just never got water from anyone. And you'd sit there and he'd ask you one question after another and after another. And the risk was this. You already had your invitations to your first Mass and your party sent out. This is your final exam with the bishop. If he says at the end of that time, no, then what are you going to do? That was an excruciating 4 hours. Keep Mark in your prayers. He still has a long way to go. But if he could do his end, and I'm sure he can because he's committed, he's focused. Those are great assets and attributes. He's come from a faith-filled family, but as important for all of us, and this is why I bring it up, he's come from a faith-filled parish. Everyone at St. Margaret Mary's should be very proud not only of him, of the other 4 men that serve as priests from this parish in our diocese, but more importantly, you should be filled with just emotion for the type of parish this is. I felt it when I got here years ago. It was tangible, your faith. You could touch it, you could smell it, you could feel it. The faith of this parish is remarkable. We have 4 priests, 1 deacon, next year 5 priests because of you. Hold on to that faith, and your faith is predicated upon the love of the Eucharist. That's why we celebrate the body of Christ today. From when we have faith, and we have hope in God, and we enjoy the Eucharist, then the good Lord brings us all kind of blessings. And one blessing he added to our parish yesterday, ordaining Mark a deacon, and next year at this time, a priest.